Hey, I'm Esquog, and this is Mr6507, and this is Hype. Why are we hyped?
Because Wolfenstein: The New Order! Now, before we get going on Wolfenstein: The New Order, we have to talk about the history of Wolfenstein. It's an FPS history.
Yeah, like Doom.
Doom. Now, Wolfenstein 3D set a premise in being the first game on PC where one does not just shoot monsters, you shoot people.
And that was gnarly. People didn't like that.
Mainly Nazis, at least.
Mainly Nazis. It spawned an entire generation of people that really wanted to kill Nazis. In fact, you can see that in modern day shooters with people still really wanting to kill Nazis.
Oh yeah.
All the time. There's a lot of Nazi killing.
Now, at the time, this opened up a lot of moral questions of, can you shoot people? Can you shoot dogs? Nintendo said no to the second one, and the first one you have only if they bleed green blood.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to be monsters, but Nazis are monsters, therefore they bleed green. Actually, it's supposed to be sweat, but you know, whatever works. It was still a decent game, and it still displayed pretty much what shooters are. You go around, you shoot things with whatever device you have to shoot things, whether it be a gun, the BFG, or a slingshot. By the way.
Supernova's Arc 3D!
Yeah, Supernova's Arc 3D was really weird. It was a spin-off of it, or not really a spin-off, but it was like a unlicensed make of it, and it was just stupid. You go around, you shoot goats, and like if you wanted to find it, you couldn't go to a game store like normal people. You had to go to a Christian bookstore.
Christian bookstores.
Ah, the moral values they burned.
Read my morals. Now, Wolfenstein: New Order is not a rehash of the game, because Wolfenstein 2009 came out, but it is a reimagining of the series again.
The history of this game is actually very beautifully set up for one of the trailers. It's that the Nazis beat us to the bomb, and they took control of our society, and it was really bad. So after a while, they didn't really trust in the biological soldier anymore, so they decided to make mechanical soldiers. Ooh.
Because robots.
Yeah, so as opposed to the 2009, where it was more fiction-y science, now it's more science fiction.
Yes, because in Wolfenstein 2009, you had this thing called the Veil, and it was like a big stone thing, and you had certain powers, like you could see through the Veil, and slow time down, and shoot powerful bullets, and have a shield, and it was all about the Nazis and their supernatural affairs.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of worked because Hitler did have them, like, scientists study the occult, but I think the new one works a lot better for the simple fact that, you know, this one seems a bit more possible, you know, because the robots aren't, like, super futuristic, like, Cylon-looking things. They're these big, clunky, mechanical things that have tons of gears and gyros everywhere, so they're more realistic. It's a more realistic outcome.
Now, in the history that you can see, at least from the trailer itself, you can clearly see that, first off, Germany dropped the atomic bomb on New York City. You've got them beating us to the moon, because naturally they destroyed the United States. You see Nazis on Abbey Road. Crazy. Nazi beetles.
Nazi beetles.
And you see more beetles being driven.
Yeah, that's a sad day for America right there. Actually, the bomb being dropped on America would be a pretty bad day, but driving more beetles is a pretty bad day. I'm not going to say it's the worst day, but it's a pretty bad day.
Bad day whenever you have to ride in a beetle.
Yeah. The style of this game, it has yet to be determined, but we're going to look at like modern trends of shooters. The old style of Wolfenstein and Doom was the standard. You walk around, they don't tell you where to go, they say you need a blue key, that's about it. You walk around, you shoot things, you find the blue key, then you pass on, and you need the red key. And you just keep going. It's fun. It's fun because nobody tells you what to do every 5 seconds. And then now in the new style, there's a lot of different things that they do. Mainly cover-based shooting, like replenishing shields and replenishing health. You know, whatever happened to health packs, you know, they did that in 2009, but whether or not it's going to be here, I don't know. I hope so, because I want to actually die, and I want to feel like I earned my death, instead of, oh, I just stood out of the wall too long. No, it's like, I have 1 health left. I'm probably not going to make it out of this situation unless I'm really good, which I'm not, and I wouldn't have made it out because I'm bad at shooters.
Now, with this new style comes another gimmick. Now, Wolfenstein 2009 had its share of gimmicks, but they almost made the game feel like it was almost a John Woo style game. And the problem with it was the gimmicks weren't well done because the game wasn't long enough to use all of them. So you got like the last super powered one in the last quarter of the game, which is maybe 30 minutes worth of game. Except for the last boss battle, which took you like 4 hours to do, because it's just stupid. But their new gimmick now is you have a laser gun. And with this laser gun, you can cut holes in cover to make cover not just be something you duck behind to regain health. You can shoot through it, and the enemies can shoot you through it too, and you can cut holes in enemies, I imagine, with the gun too. Now, if this gun has unlimited ammo, end game rifle.
I don't think I'm gonna like this gimmick for the main fact that it's gimmicky. I hate gimmicks. Doom didn't have gimmicks, except for the BFG, because that was awesome. And, you know, Wolfenstein didn't have a gimmick. It was, you know, it was walk and shoot. That's what you did.
Walk and shoot, man.
Yeah, that's all you did. Just walk and shoot.
Just walk and shoot. So,
the fact that they think they have to put gimmicks in everything kind of makes everything, you know, lessen in value. I mean, there's adding mechanics to games, which is valuable in its own right, but then there's adding gimmicks, which you only use because the game says so, you know? Hey, look how awesome it is when you shoot a hole in the wall. Ooh.
I cut a hole through cover, and I mean, you have to hope that it works. Number one, like, it's gonna be on the Xbox 360, the PS3, and it's probably going to be a mechanic that's gonna either look bad, so you never do it because it just looks bad. It's not going to work because you have to do it on certain things. Like, if I'm standing behind a crate and I want to drill a hole through the crate and drill a hole through the other side of the crate, that'll never happen. It's like, I want to be able to do that. Why can't I do that? It should be a thing, but it's not. It's like, Homebound came out a year ago, and Homebound was this great idea of the Red Dawn scenario. Chinese are coming to get us, took us over, let's fight back against them. Rebellion.
Yeah, punk rock.
Punk rock. And this rebellion is just, I don't know if I can take another horrible rebellion shooter.
Yeah, because the only character setup they have in the trailers that they have out right now, at least, is like, oh, the world is awful, and they're gonna rewrite history, but they forgot about me. And that's all you get from the character. You don't get to know his name. You don't get to know what he looks like. All it is, hey.
Yeah, you have to assume it's B.J. Blazkowicz. I mean, B.J. Blazkowicz never really said anything other than corny one-liners in the way of Duke Nukem. Not as bad as Duke Nukem, but definitely better than Serious Sam style kind of one-liners. But they were still pretty bad. And it's just like, okay, we assume it's B.J. Blazkowicz. He is a B.A., but come on, this is...
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Tell us more. Like, did he have a car? Yeah, there's just lots of area for betrayal in this. You could mess up... First of all, it's all cover system. Nobody likes cover systems anymore. Walk and shoot. That's what I want from this game. And the gimmick involves shooting through cover, so...
Yeah, and it's clearly that this is going to go to a more modern shooter style, where you have to use cover. It's just not going to be walk and shoot, man.
Yeah.
And they've already shown, like, a turret segment and stuff that's going on like that, so you know it's going to be a very modern shooter, but let's just hope that the storyline's enough to save it. Even if it pulls a Bioshock Infinite and has less than good mechanics, but the premise of the storyline is good, at least we can accept it for that. But after the last Wolfenstein, I'm kind of concerned for it. Now, this is being made by Bethesda, so either it's going to be super glitchy and good, or it's going to be horrible and still super glitchy.
So expect some glitches. I'm gonna look forward to the weird, sometimes like horrifying glitches that happen in these games. I'm gonna be looking on YouTube for them. It's gonna be fun.
Upside down heads.
Upside down heads. People doing like somersaults that are standing still. It's.
Now, again, there's lots of area for betrayal in this game. I wouldn't leave it at that, but with the amount of hype they put into it, I hope that they put a lot of care in it designing this game.
Yes, because the hype seems to be that it's going to be the most amazing game thus far. But they did that for Wolfenstein 2009, and it wasn't. So let's hope they got it right this time.
Anyway, guys, that's what we're hyped about. Tell us what you're hyped about in the comments. Check out our Twitter and Facebook. And stay cool with the fridge.